Hi everyone. Today is day 7 of recording this stuff, and I am quite happy that we have recorded successfully for consecutively 7 days, and that's an achievement for me because a week I have completed for recording me and talking to me this and talking to basically you guys actually. So if you are watching this, so thanks for being with me in these 7 days. And so let's start. By the way, sorry for the past days, for the previous days, basically on the day 6 that I doesn't recorded the whole stuff for near about 30 minutes, which I was supposed to, because I was because my mom just called me in between the video while I was recording this, and I was actually supposed to answer the call because that was an urgent call at that time. And so sorry for that, and would like to apologize to you guys. So I guess you will forgive me for that, basically. Yes, remember that. So basically let's continue the same story. So what I was going to tell you about, I was just telling you about my 7th standard, right? So in 7th standard I told you about that I just demoted to the C section after I scored 9.9 CGPA in my 6th standard. So yes, so that was the one part. And so what I did in that summative assessment, so basically let me explain what was the exam scheduling of that time. At that time in the CBSE board, basically they used to conduct 6 exams: FA1, formative assessment 1, formative assessment 2, summative assessment, in which the whole of the syllabus of that formative assessment and summative assessment used to come in the summative assessment, and formative assessment 3, formative assessment 4, and summative assessment 2nd. Okay, so that was the whole schedule of the examination which the school authorities used to conduct, and from which they got the orders from the CBSE side. So what I did was, in the formative assessment 1 I just scored again quite bad. Basically I was ranked 6th in that whole section, and in the formative assessment 2 also not quite good. The result was not quite good actually. So what I did after that formative assessment 2nd, I just studied hard actually, and I increased my study hours and decreased my playing hours, and quietly focused on my studies in that period of near about 30 days actually. Yes, near about 30 days, you can say 30 days, whatever it is. Yes, so and the result was this, that in English I scored much higher marks than the B section, and I was quite compared to the A section guys, and that yes, this person is like that for the A section, that he should be deserved any position in the A section, and I was quite much far better than those students that were in B section. Okay, so after that in English, and my marks was, out of 60 I scored 59 or 58. Yes, near about 59 or 58. Yes, after the other two, one was there, and the highest marks in the B section was near about 48, and I just banged everything, and I topped my section. And even just in the English in the English subject, and in my science subject I topped my section, and I scored out of the 60 I scored 59. But the main thing was I just spoiled my maths subject, in which I nearly just got passed because I didn't studied anything in maths and didn't practice basically what I had to study. I was supposed to practice, and I just nothing I did. I practiced nothing and just gone to class like this only, with open mouth, and that's yes I will, and I was like that, yes, I am gonna crack this stuff and I'm gonna fuck this paper. But instead of this, the paper fucked me badly, and this much badly that I started crying, just like the 5th class, and in Sanskrit paper. And after that examination of math subject, in my research, my teacher, again just like that Sanskrit paper, my teacher came and scolded me in front of the whole class, and that teacher just said to the whole class that who was just asking them, who was that guys crying in the first bench, no, not the first bench, basically crying in the middle of the paper, that he has not scored that much good and that stuff, and that the paper was not good enough, that he hasn't practiced anything, and just was criticizing me. And I was like, fuck this, man, I'm already in the trauma of my paper. That was not good actually. Not paper was good actually, I didn't score, that was my fault of course. So however, in that subject I scored still much better than 3/4 of the class, because the rest 3/4 of the class was asshole actually. Asshole. Yes, those guys were assholes for sure. Fucking shit. So after that, yes, so after that summative assessment one, my result was, I was ranked, I guess 5th or 6th in the class still, because I just managed to get more marks in the other subject, so then as compared to this maths. Yes, so in after that, in formative assessment 3rd, I was ranked 2nd in the class, and in formative assessment 4th, yes, same, I was ranked 2nd in the class. And during the formative assessment 2nd, my English teacher declared that in the class that Ankit will not be promoted to the B section. Yes, and she was like that, no, Ankit is not going anywhere. He is going to, not she, basically, fuck, and he is going to stay in the C section only. And I was like, fucking shit, she just taunted me like this. What taunted? Fuck, I just today used a new one. She just criticized me, that basically in the form of other words. So she just satired actually. Yes, satire is the word. She satired on me by saying that Ankit is not going to anywhere and he is going to stay the C section only. So and I took that satire personally, and again I just scored quite good, and I was promoted to the B section, not A section. Bad luck again. So in the 8th standard, I was promoted to the B section. So during my parent teacher meeting, after the final examination of the 7th standard, when I met my English teacher, she told me that you are promoted to the B section, and I was like, yeah, I know. Because I was a deserved man. Deserved man, you man. Yes, she was a woman actually. I mean, not a man, woman. So, and she started laughing at me. That, yeah, you just said me that I can't go to the B section, and I just see this now myself. Me. So in the B section, in the 8th standard, there was, yes, I had one memory actually. Not basically, there are various memories, but one memory I remembered. I'm just getting reminded of in my mind that just I would like to share to you guys is that there was basically a games period. Usually in a week we used to get one games period and one yoga period, and one in yoga period we used to just do yoga for 5 to 10 minutes, and after that the teacher just allow us to play in the ground. And so the thing was, we went to the yoga period with and while returning from back to the ground, football ground, yes, football ground, because I was just playing the football part, not the basketball or any volleyball thing. I was quite interested in football thing. So when I came to the back, when I not basically the whole class came back to the school campus, because our that football ground and our sports campus was quite a little bit of the difference of near about 100 or 200 meter you can say. So in 100, so while returning to the back from the ground to the school, our school basically queue. If you don't understand what does a queue mean, the spelling is Queue. Fuck, Queue. Yes, queue actually. Yes, or you can say line, in which the whole class is supposed to stand in a straight line. So our class was not in a proper queue. So, and our vice principal, not principal actually, at that time the principal was changed, and so the principal, Mr. Gyan Prakash sir, he saw us, our whole class, that we were not in proper queue. So while returning, and so when we returned to the class, he called our class back from the class, called all the students of our section, of my section basically, to the main hall in which the that school assembly was conducting every day, was being conducted actually, not conducting, was being conducted every day. And that part was like this stuff, that as if you can encircle me and I am the center point of the circle. So however that circle was like quite a square. Yes, square basically. So basically you can understand that just me standing in between a square, in the center of the square. Okay, so in the middle of the square, in the center of the square, our whole class was punished by raising our hands like this, that we generally get while we were doing any type of mischief in the class, and teacher scolded us. So that principal given us the punishment of raising hands. So while we were given that punishment, my section students were laughing actually. Some of the students, in which I was not there, of course, for sure, I was quite a bit serious then quite thinking that what the teacher is going to say, and I was like, fuck this shit, and I was like, yes, of course, I am going to take care of them. So that some of the students were laughing, and so by looking at those guys, the principal got even more offended by looking at that they are here, and he was like that they are getting the punishment and still there these assholes are laughing. So after that, one name stick was this much big, yes, this much big, he get this much big. Neem stick, neem, what I used to call in, actually I don't remember the scientific name, but yes, fuck that shit for instance right now. So yes, he brought that neem stick, and I even got two of those red-handed with that stick. So after that our section basically my section got little bit of recognition in the whole class, like this, yes, that these students got the punishment in the middle of the class. So in the middle, not in the middle of class, basically in the middle of the school, and whole school was watching us. So yeah, that is a bad memory. Basically, I will say quite a not bad memory also, but yes, that was a quite fascinating memory, you can say, of me remembering those of me actually. That was quite adventurous, you can say. However, that fifth class one was bit not bit, you can say that was far much adventurous than this stuff, than this incident that I have shared with you just few seconds ago. Okay, so after 8th standard I went to, yes, in 8th standard I also remember that I got praised from my science teacher, and her name was, what the fuck was her name, actually I don't remember the name, but yes, she was actually good. And when I was in my 7th standard, she taught me during my formative assessment examination, and at that time she just said me that you are going to be promoted, like because when she used to ask the questions and I was the first that was giving her answer perfectly, so that she was quite impressed with me at that time. So when I was in my 8th standard and in the B section, when she noticed me in the B section, she was quite happy, and she just praised me that you made it to the B section. And I was like, thank you ma'am, just you should accept the praise actually, you should. And yes, and just like everyone does, you should not complain about that why should she praised me and that stuff, and I'm like, kya fark padta hai bench, fuck, sorry, I'm not supposed to do this. Okay, so yes, that was the quite a bit memory of my 8th standard, a good and a bad one. And after, in my 9th standard, after 8th standard, I scored again 9.9 CGPA, but this time I was not demoted to the C section. I was in the B section only this time, and I was with the top students in the B section, in my whole section, in the section actually, yes. So in my 9th class, I just met someone, due to which after which my life got quite pretty much influenced with her after meeting with her. So I will not tell who she is, yes, but that was quite some of my quite glorious moments which I would not like to share with you guys, because Personal space, someone a little bit of personal space required, and I guess everyone is supposed to do that, not do that. Everyone is supposed to keep it privately from others. However, I didn't keep privately from two guys. One is my friend Akshay Bhattad, or you can say Raja, and one is her elder sister, and his sorry, not his fuck, and one is that her elder sister. Okay, so yes, so during my ninth class, yes, I was in the P section, and what P section? Yes, I just scored something. No, yes, I was sometimes in the some of the examination I was the not topper basically, but I was in the top 5 of the students of the section. And after my summative assessment first, I just fucked up everything, and I accept it because I don't know why actually. I kept focusing on other stuff than studying, and was quietly focused on football because at that time I was just playing around with my football, and I just remember that I kept one in the summer vacation of that my 9th standard. I kept my haircut like that of Andre Russell, if you guys know. However, my motivation was not that guy. My bird, I just kept just because nothing. There was no reason of keeping that haircut actually. Just for fun, I kept that, and however, that was quite fun for me. And the people used in the people on the ground, the football ground with whom I used to play, they started calling me by the name Andre Russell. That Russell, you should come here and play that and it at that position. And what? Yes. So that was the other stuff. Okay. So after summative assessment, yes, basically I was in that moment. So after summative assessment, as I mentioned, I have fucked everything in my studies. However, in the point of view of the other students of my section, was like that, yes man, this man is studying all day and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with those assholes, and that they are assuming that I am studying the whole day, and whereas I was just playing and just spending the time with my friends at that time. Yes, so the result was this, that I scored in the summative assessment. My CGPA was 9.2 CGPA, which was that I scored 0.2 CGPA more than my elder brother. That was quite impressive for me, not for my mom because she's quite elder brother sided. So the thing is that after I just what the fuck. Yes, so I was quite happier actually that I scored 0.2 CGPA more than my brother, but the result was this, that I was demoted to C section. The fuck was this? Yes. So basically, again, back to the journey. I just studied in the same process, the same schedule was there of that examinations and that terms. However, instead of formative assessment 4 or FA4 examination, they don't used to conduct the examination. They just kept the marks. So instead of the examination, they used to take the average of the marks that that they were just conduct of what we have scored in our periodic tests actually. Yes. Sorry, bola. So yes. So after that, what? So yes. So in my formative assessment one, again I I just what? Yes, I was the topper in the class for sure. Of course, no one is going to like me. Fuck, that was a quiet attitude of mine because I studied hard actually, and really I just studied hard at that moment. However, my brother used to say me at that time that I used to study for 36 days in my whole year, and the god used to cut the electricity in those 36 days only generally. So that was also a point of laugh. But in my formative assessment one, I just really scored better than the most of the students in the whole class actually. Not in the particular section, C section, even the whole class, whole 10th standard, I scored quite much. That such, for example, I can say I scored that much that I can be placed in the top 10 of the A section students. Yes, you can say that much actually. I scored really that much because I just studied hard in that during my formative assessment first. So I was made monitor in that time. After my result of the formative assessment came, I was a topper in the class, in the section actually, not in the class. In the class I was in the 10th position, as I just mentioned a few seconds ago. So after that, when I was made the monitor by the class teacher, I just criticized by the other students that I am just writing the name of the classmates and not allowing the students to talk in the recess period. And I was like, yo, fuck this shit. Yes, I didn't give a fuck to the students. What my duty is, I'm supposed to do that. However, during my formative assessment period, which period? After formative assessment 1 to formative assessment 2nd examination, in the middle period, my English teacher was quite nice, and she was just appointed new as my new English teacher, and her name was Silu ma'am. Yes, Silu is like a home name or a nickname basically, you can say. But yes, and she was quite pretty, like pretty, and her everything was quite like that I met in my 9th standard of her was like quite that of 9th standard. However, yes, so I was quite hardly driven towards her, and even I was the monitor. I was specifically the monitor of that subject in section, and every student was like, yes, Silvia is coming, kid, go, just cock munch her, not cock munch basically. She was not having the cocaine. So yes, so I was hardly driven by her, and I was made the monitor by her of English actually. Yes, and for me she was quite good actually. Yes, because she was my female teacher crush. not crush, female teacher crush of mine. So after that, after and in that formative assessment second, I was at the position fifth or fourth, yes, fifth in the in my section actually. So after that, I scored not quite much better in the summative assessment also, and my math subject again. I spoiled in that subject in the summative assessment examination. So after that summative assessment examination, our formative assessment third was supposed to be conducted, and in that subject and in that during that examination basically not during that in that examination, in my exam in math subject, some of the questions, basically not some of the, you can say near about every question was from outside, and the teacher made himself the whole of the paper that I've made that he had made the questions of by himself, not from any book, or from any kind of sample paper, not from the NCERT, not from R.D. Sharma, not from Oswald sample papers or any other stuff, not from together with also. So in that period, so in that subject, I was the topper in the class, and I solved every question of that. Fuck this shit. And I scored every question, and I, yes, what the fuck, why I'm repeating, and I so I just finished the paper, and I completed whole questions of that paper with the 100% efficiency and with correction. What? Fuck this shit. I was not supposed to correct. Yes. And the result was this, that again in the formative assessment third, I was ranked first in the class back. Fuck. And however, this time I refused to be the monitor of the class, because I was supposed to focus on my studies for summative assessment second actually, which was 10th board, because I didn't choose the non-board part. I chose, instead of non-board, I chose board part. So in my summative assessment second, yes, I just remember one thing. In my summative assessment second, during my maths examination, during my maths examination, I used to borrow, only in the maths examination, in the whole of the board examination, I used to borrow a matter box of classmate, on which some maths diagram were made from back side of, from that company. They just printed that in math diagram, and that math diagram was not part of our whole 10th standard, and even that diagram was not even part of our up to the 12th standard. There was not any such type of diagram in my that I have seen in my maths books and math stuff. So the thing was this, the incident was this, that the teacher, the invigilator in my maths period, that invigilator came and took my that drawing, instrumental box or drawing box, basically you can say. Yes, geometry box, because there was more of that geometrical things in that box. So geometry box, and he took all of my that pens and other stationery items on the table, put all of my stationery item on the table and took the box with him. That and he was supposed to be and not supposed to be, basically he was criticizing me that why you have brought such type of box on which the match diagram are made. But I just said that this diagram will not also, this diagram is not in our syllabus, and I guess this diagram is also not part of the 12th standard, even of the 12th standard. And that invigilator was like that you doesn't care about this that you have brought. And I was like, no, because because at that time if I just wasted that time on that thing and I quite argued with her, then my whole of my that paper would have left over, and I was left nothing, and I would have been left nothing except tear in my eyes. So yes, the moral of the story is don't give fuck to anyone if your paper is quite serious and you are quite serious about that subject, basically. So we'll continue my 11th standard and my 12th standard and afterlife. So basically afterlife from 10th standard I will be continuing in the next video. So bye.